One major development going on now involves more to do with Dominique Thorne going off at the fans yet again in the midst of the Ironheart ratings disaster.
That is all ego. You would never find me with an ego like that. Not with my fallopian tube.
Comes to the numbers.
Folks, settle in. Because we're kicking things off with a headline that practically writes itself. Ironheart actress blames empty theaters on audience's lack of vision. Claims her performance was too avant-garde. You heard that right. Not the writing, not the direction, not even the CGI that looked like it was rendered on a potato. Nope, it was our fault.
Was a massive disappointment in the ratings for them, certainly. We do know, when you go and you look at through these charts, the first couple days it was out, because we have 3 days of Ironheart in these numbers, just like we had 3 days of Daredevil in these numbers. And Daredevil in those first 3 days had over 300 million minutes watched. So, and that was with less possible runtime than something like Ironheart. Yet we know that it hasn't matched that.
Apparently, we, the uncultured masses, just weren't sophisticated enough to appreciate what was clearly a cinematic masterpiece. This isn't just a misstep, it's a full-blown faceplant in a mud puddle of self-delusion. How does a production company greenlight a project, and then when it bombs harder than a lead balloon in a lava lamp, the star turns around and points the finger at the very people who, theoretically, keep her lights on? It begs the question, doesn't it? What exactly happened behind those studio doors that led to such a spectacular crash and burn? And more importantly, how did we get to a point where a performer can genuinely believe their artistic genius is simply too much for the common man? Hold on to your remotes, because the answer might just shock you more than the Ironheart viewership numbers themselves.
Spoiler alert, kind of exactly what we expect. Ironheart ratings in the gutter.
Now, Thorne delivered the following in a desperate play to salvage the series. I think Marvel fans, she says, just need to take a step back and to stop focusing on our support for both diversity and LGBTQ and claiming that as some form of a hidden message.
Natalie AI thing seems utterly preposterous and ridiculous, and even for an MCU show, I'm finding it to be a little bit of a bridge too far to go. The Heist crew, all lame. Every single one of them, all lame.
Seriously, who wakes up, sees their show's viewership in the single digits, and thinks, ah yes, it's not me, it's them? They just don't get my art. That's like a chef serving up a plate of raw eggs and then blaming the customer for not having a sophisticated enough palate to appreciate the deconstructed omelet. We're talking about an actress who, let's be honest, probably got the role because someone's nephew knew someone. And now she's out here acting like she's Meryl Streep, except Meryl Streep actually has, audiences, not just her immediate family and a very confused Netflix algorithm. It makes you wonder if these folks ever step outside their Hollywood bubble.
Now is that we know that Kevin Feige and Bob Iger, they're also engaging in damage control about this show, saying things like, don't trust the negative reviews, don't trust the trades, stuff like that.
Do they genuinely believe that if you make something so abstract, so deep, that nobody understands it, it somehow becomes brilliant? Or is it just a convenient excuse when the critics are sharpening their knives and the box office is collecting dust bunnies? This whole debacle isn't just about a flop show. It's a peek behind the curtain at the absolute disconnect between some in Tinseltown and the actual human beings who buy the tickets. And trust me, that disconnect runs deeper than you think. It's astonishing, isn't it? The sheer audacity. This isn't a humble indie film that found its niche. This was a big budget, highly anticipated, CGI-laden spectacle that fizzled out faster than a cheap firecracker on a wet 4th of July. And then, for the star to come out and essentially say, you're too dumb for my genius, that's not just arrogant, that's a new level of delusion. Most people, when their work doesn't land, they reflect, they learn. They maybe even consider that they might have contributed to the problem, not this one. She went straight for the jugular, implying we, the viewers, lack the intellectual fortitude to grasp her groundbreaking performance. It's like a comedian bombing so hard they can hear crickets and then telling the audience they just don't understand sophisticated humor. No, friend, you just weren't funny.
Ironheart is the biggest L of Marvel of all time. The reactions are just spectacular. Supposedly smarter than Tony Stark, bites an electric wire, sells her soul to gain magic powers, uses new powers to steal. What did the writers mean by this? Smoke detector beeps.
And they were doing everything in their power to really prop up this show. That's exactly why they had RDJ, Robert Downey Jr., some weeks ago going on talk shows to really say that Riri is the best thing to the MCU to represent the legacy of Tony Stark.
I can understand why she's frustrated. That's how I feel watching her interviews.
How do you feel about the impact that she's having on young Black girls? And I'm going to be completely honest, on Black women.
You know, this is yet another area that's getting vibrant. It's getting full in the way that it should.
And in this case, the show just wasn't good. But what exactly defines good in Hollywood these days? Is it critical acclaim, or is it just having enough social media followers to land a role regardless of actual talent? Because the answer to that question will tell you everything you need to know about why we're seeing more and more of these cinematic train wrecks. And the way she delivered that rant, it wasn't a nuanced, carefully worded statement. It was a full-blown, fire-breathing, dragon-level screed dripping with resentment. She wasn't just disappointed. She was genuinely offended that her art wasn't being appreciated.
How do you feel about the impact that she's having on young Black girls? And I'm going to be completely honest, on Black women.
You know, this is yet another area that's getting vibrant. It's getting full in the way that it should.
You almost have to admire the commitment to the bit, even if the bit is, I'm a genius and you're all peasants. It's a classic move. When all else fails, blame the audience. It's a tactic as old as Hollywood itself, but rarely has it been executed with such unbridled indignation. It makes you wonder, what kind of echo chamber do these actors live in where they're constantly told they're infallible? Do they surround themselves with yes men and ignore any dissenting voices? Because from where we're sitting, that kind of self-congratulatory bubble is precisely why we get these shows that are so far removed from what actual people want to watch. And it's not just actors. This problem permeates the entire system. Think about it. Who gave her the confidence to unleash such a scathing attack on her potential fan base? Was it her publicist, whispering sweet nothings about how controversial statements get clicks? Or was it just pure, unadulterated hubris? Because let's be real, a seasoned professional knows that biting the hand that might feed you in the future is generally not a great career strategy. Unless, of course, you've already bitten off more than you can chew and you're just trying to deflect. This whole spectacle isn't just a bad look for her. It's a reflection of a wider issue in the entertainment industry, where celebrity often trumps talent and entitlement replaces humility. It's a culture where the focus is more on social media presence and less on actual craft. And when you prioritize form over substance, what do you get? Exactly what we got with Ironheart. A whole lot of flash and absolutely no bang. This incident isn't isolated. We're seeing a disturbing trend of actors and creators openly disparaging their audiences when their projects flop. It's almost as if they believe that by shaming us, we'll suddenly see the light and appreciate their brilliance. Newsflash, it doesn't work that way. When a restaurant serves terrible food and the chef comes out to scold you for not understanding molecular gastronomy, you don't suddenly develop a taste for bland, overpriced slop. You just leave a bad review and never go back. And that's exactly what's happening here. The audience isn't obligated to like something just because it was made. We're not a captive market, we have choices. And when those choices are met with disdain from the very people trying to sell us content, it only drives us further away. But the bigger question is, why are these creatives so consistently missing the mark? Is it a genuine misunderstanding of what audiences want, or something far more cynical? It's almost as if they're so insulated from reality they genuinely believe their own hype. You know, the kind of hype generated by an army of publicists and social media managers who are paid to tell them how brilliant they are. It's a feedback loop of ego, where bad reviews are dismissed as jealousy, and low viewership is blamed on the audience's lack of sophistication. It's a dangerous game, because eventually, even the most dedicated fans will get tired of being insulted. This isn't just about a single show, it's about the erosion of trust between creators and their audience. When you constantly tell people their opinions don't matter, or that they're too dumb to understand your work, you're not building a fan base, you're alienating it. And let me tell you, that well of goodwill dries up faster than a forgotten ice cube on a hot Mumbai sidewalk. What's even funnier is how they think this attitude makes them look edgy or visionary, when in reality, it just makes them look out of touch. And the irony! An actress from a show that literally relies on mass appeal, on reaching as many people as possible, suddenly decides that mass appeal is beneath her. It's like a pop star complaining that too many people are listening to their music. The entire premise is ridiculous. You're in the entertainment industry. Your job is to entertain. If you wanted to make obscure niche art for a very select few, there are independent film festivals and art galleries for that. But you signed up for a mainstream superhero franchise. You knew what the job was. So to then turn around and act surprised, and worse, insulted, that the broad audience didn't embrace your avant-garde interpretation of a comic book character, that's not just a poor attitude. It's a fundamental misunderstanding of your profession. And honestly, it makes you wonder if they even bothered to read the script, or if they just saw the paycheck and said, "Where do I sign?" So, what's the takeaway from this epic meltdown? Is it that Hollywood needs a serious reality check? Absolutely. Is it that some actors need to be reminded that humility is a virtue? You bet. But more importantly, it's a stark reminder that the audience, we the people, hold the power. Our viewership, our subscriptions, our movie tickets, that's what fuels this industry. And if they continue to churn out subpar content and then blame us for their failures, then guess what? We'll just find something else to watch. Because unlike some of these self-proclaimed geniuses, we actually do have vision. We see what's good, we see what's bad, and we definitely see when we're being insulted. The question now is, will Hollywood ever truly understand that the customer, or in this case, the viewer, is always right? Or will they continue down this path of arrogance until there's no one left to watch their avant-garde masterpieces? Because frankly, the popcorn is getting stale and our patience is running thin.